Thank you, everybody, for jumping on this evening, and thank you so much, Tamara. That was such a good call as always. So this evening, what I really wanted to share with you guys is, the topic of influencers. This comes up so much. This comes up weekly for me. People saying, I'm not an influencer. I don't think I'll do very well. Or what if is an influencer? Or how do I become an influencer? And guys, I wanted to get Carla on this call because, Carla has really built a successful business, and she has grown herself and positioned herself as an expert in her field within the Perth community. And I almost don't want to use the word influencer because I feel like it's just a hot word at the moment, and it doesn't really mean much. So for anyone who's out there who's seen, all those Instagram influencers, I go after, a lot of people on Instagram to talk about this business, but people who are using themselves on social media to share products or, grow themselves as an influencer. It's not a long-term business. Getting paid $500 to put up a post, share wear a dress or do something like that. It's not a business model. It is nothing like what we've got. So what I wanted to do was get Carla on board and really kind of have a bit of an interview, but also a bit of a chat about where she started and now where she's grown. So for those of you who don't know, Carla is an NMD. She's been in the business 8 years, and she's a Perth-based holistic health coach with a focus on mind-body medicine. I have to write down her bio because it's quite long, but I've just got the snippets. She's the founder and author of the Juicy Movement, and she's also sat on Sarah Wilson's I Quit Sugar program panel between 2014 and 2018. Now, I mention this because this is after she started her Juice Plus business, and I think this is very important for you to know. She's recently become the in-house wellness expert for the local activewear label Fearless Activewear, and also an ambassador for Hempel Tribe. Now, Carla, unmute yourself. When you started Juice Plus, Instagram, Facebook, social media, it wasn't massive. It wasn't big, and so what I kind of really wanted you to start or touch on, or where we can lead this conversation is, how have you positioned yourself now as an expert in your field after doing the Juice Plus business?
Yeah, it's a great question. Hi, everyone. Firstly, apologies for the slightly husky voice. We talk a lot for this business, so it's been fading on and off since last week. So hopefully it's not too irritating. Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Luce, because when I did start this business over 8 years ago, social media wasn't really live and kicking at all. No one was utilising Facebook. Instagram didn't exist. We didn't have YouTube, Zooms like this. There was no even Juice Plus Australia Facebook page. So that wasn't really something that was trained on or talked on at the start. But one thing I think I really realised with Juice Plus, because of the people that I was around, it was great that I was going to study something and have that, but realistically you didn't need that in order to be creating a difference and an impact. And for me, my sponsor, Nat Baldock, was a perfect example, as I saw that for her, it was beyond just Juice Plus. It was about creating a health and wellness movement and becoming someone who, she went back afterwards and started to look into food and study all of that, but it was her journey with Juice Plus where she was already establishing herself within Perth as a speaker on whole food nutrition. And I think it just comes down to really knowing what your message is. So who you are, like taking Juice Plus away as well, what you're about, what you're passionate about, and getting really good at being able to market that. And I think that's what it boils down to, even with today's influencers. I know it's something you and I were talking about, or, those people that tend to be making a mark on the social media world and shaking it up. Guys, most of them are just your everyday people who have a really clear message, are really passionate about creating something with it, and have gotten really damn good at understanding how to use that on social media. But they are your mummy bloggers, they are your fitness fanatics but not experts, they are your foodie lovers.
I love that you say that actually, Carla, not experts. You do not have to be an expert to be a person of influence. I do not brand myself as a social media expert. I don't actually think you can be, because it changes every day. It's impossible to know everything. But similar to how, you know, when I started in this business, I was a bit lost. I was like, I remember talking to you right at the start, Carla. You know, Carla would speak and she'd say her background, and then, you know, Kim Pilates, and then, you know, Val and Abby mums. And I just stood there like, hi, my name's Luce. Hi. I've joined the Juice Plus company, and I didn't have a clear vision on my why. Now I have a clear vision on my why, and I know exactly what I want people to know me for. And every single person on this call can become an expert in their story. That's where it is, where your passion lies. That's where you become an influencer or an expert. People come to you because you are so damn passionate about your story, regardless of what that is. And that's obviously where you have, you know, leveraged that, Carla. And so you're kind of now going out there. You know, we can be quite typical of finding those people who don't have a job, and, you know, or who just had kids and is a mum. You're actually going out there to kind of talk to business savvy people. Is that correct? And what's your like mindset around that? You know, what's your reason for going on that? Because I don't think that's a lot what many people actually think. They think, oh, that person's already got a business, they don't need another one.
Yeah, well, look, I think at the end of the day, it just boils down to the people who you naturally align with and spend time with, and who you are following online and are following back. So I think with me, obviously, wellness is my thing. It's who I am as a person. Take a business side away, you know, it's what I live and breathe and what I'm about. And I've just been blessed enough and worked hard enough to create a business out of it. But, you know, the types of people that I naturally follow, and I think this is really a big one, guys, don't go about following and stalking people who you don't authentically actually really love and value online. You know what I mean? So I follow people who I get inspired by, not because necessarily I aim to get something out of it. It can't always just be about getting something in return. It's simply because I like that. And then you naturally sort of form an online relationship through liking each other's stuff back and commenting, and through that a relationship might start, and then it might evolve into a private message here or someone sharing a story, and you establish that connection through your like-mindedness. So for me, it's natural, if I love wellness and I'm involved in the wellness business community here, that I'm going to be connecting with online and outside people like that, and some of which have already excuse me, an established business, and some who don't but are looking to establish something in health and wellness using Juice Plus as a platform, which is exactly what I did. I use that as my platform. So I think definitely it's relationship building, and the worst thing you can do, especially within, you know, communities like this, is become that person, that spammer, because once you do, it's very hard to get rid of that reputation. And I've seen it happen where people are like, oh, she's that girl who does that, or she's a girl who constantly keeps messaging me about that. So this is where relationship building is really, really important. You can't just go in there and be like, hey, buy from me, or here's my business. So being really authentic and honest in building those. And same with the groups that you're a part of as well. You know, go into those groups because you just want to meet people, learn back, and add value. You'll naturally attract people who are loving your message, and you'll naturally find people who you go, oh, I'd love to connect with them more and see if there's something there, and build on that. So that's really what I've definitely done. And this takes time. You know, it does. And so there has to be a little bit of patience with it. But I also believe that, you know, business isn't always about a quick turnaround, and especially when it comes in the online world, when you want to make a difference to creating really good relationships and friendships on there. So I think being organic with it, and being authentic in your own message. So I think people aren't silly online, and it goes back to, as you were saying, with your story and being really sure on your story, on your why, and consistent in your message. If you are being true to who you are, it's not difficult to do. And I do find that those who sort of struggle with what do I post, what do I share, what do I do, it's simply because they're not actually sharing what they're about authentically, or they're just not doing it consistently. And so if you're loving social media and everything feels natural to you, then it's a good sign that you're really connected to what your vision and your why and your story is, and people will be drawn to that. And that's what I found started to happen with me over time. It wasn't so much me having to go, but people being drawn into what I was about.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, the big thing out there is don't get distracted by people's numbers, and also don't get distracted by what people portray on social media. I don't tend to follow those mummy bloggers who only post the most perfect picture and try and make out that their life is absolutely perfect, because that's not life. And I personally don't find those people genuine. I am all about being real and honest, and the same with you, Carla. That's, you know, your brand and what you are, you can feel it through what you're posting. So, you know, kind of what would you say to those people who are listening, who are really not sure on their story, really not sure, you know, not necessarily what to post to social media, but how can they become an expert in themselves?
Yeah, look, I think, again, in terms of, it just becomes being an expert at your own message. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you have to really stay true to whatever your own message is. But as far as goes in terms of, you know, broadening maybe your reach online. And again, I do agree with you in what you said. It's not always so much about quantity, guys, in followers and things like that. It's about quality. You know, there are people who have like thousands of followers, some true, some not, because you can buy followers these days. But, you know, and I don't have the highest to some out there, but what I think people notice with me is I've got a really consistent, loyal following. And that is what people look for in terms of for collaborations, or if they can use you to promote something that you also value of theirs, which kind of brings me to my next point really on utilizing like-minded relationships online for collaborations and incentives and giveaways and things like that. So I think so often we only want to stick to just our Juice Plus herd. And look, it's great definitely to align, but if you want to broaden your audience and your network, it's a really, really good idea to find those people who may want to do an event with you, who are involved in whatever your type of you know, I guess your brand or your theme or your message is, because you can cross your audiences, and that's such another great way of getting your message out there, basically. So if you can collab with other people in events, if you can look at doing things, like I said, giveaways and things together. So it's not just if you want to do an incentive for, you know, your Juice Plus or something for the month, well, who else can you get involved that might want to donate something, those messages you can put out there, and then you can say, hey, if you do something, why don't I give you some sachets or something, or why don't I offer a free this or free that, or something that you can do in return. That was a really big thing really for me initially, just starting to team up with local brands or products who were like me, just really small and starting out and just needed a boost. And I believed in what they were doing. They believed in what I was doing. So we just said, well, how can we help each other out? And I think that's the biggest thing. How can you support other people who are kind of out there doing a similar message to you, and that are going to want to help you back? And that's all it's about. I'm trying to think what else. Sharing posts and products is another great way of able to get into your feed and have influence. And again, it's just for the love of it. So I'll give some examples of how that naturally, happened for me. So Kara's online tonight, who's one of my team members. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this, but Kara and I actually met through both speaking at an event almost a year ago. And that was it. We got chatting. There was a natural connection. We got along really well. And we chatted, yada, yada, saw each other a few things.
Oh, she's gone. I think Carla's Kala's Wi-Fi might have dropped. Okay, guys, so until she jumps back on, which won't be too long, I think kind of still touching on those giveaways and things like that, you know, you probably see a lot of people online which are promoting certain brands and certain things. You don't have to be gifted or sent these to review other products. I have set myself, I review quite a lot of kids products, like baby products, and talk about it because I know that my network is mums and also mums to be who are a bit not sure, you know, out there. But what I make sure I do is align myself with products that I truly believe in. So I've just been sent some vegan self-tan, which is made by a beautiful woman in Perth. She's only 17 and she's asked me to become an influencer and you know, and help her promote that. I've obviously said yes because it's something I heavily believe in. I wouldn't say yes to something that I might not be able to believe in. So Kala, you're back. Good. You can
I'm
feel
so
back
sorry.
in there.
That just completely cut me out. Yeah, so basically that's a perfect example of a relationship that happened with somebody that was of my sort of tribe. From there we got chatting. Cara invited her along to an event, which was Tamara speaking. Cara got inspired. She happened to have also known Tamara through the grapevine too. She asked me about Juice Plus, got started on it in that sense. But we had also already, I think, cross-promoted our products because I loved what she was doing with Pure Home Body and had some of her products as part of a goodie bag for me. So it was kind of like natural. Oh, cool, we're both in this. I like what you do. You like what I do. Let's kind of do something together. And from there, it kind of evolved into Cara going, well, I want to know more about this business side of things. And then even to this day, if Cara's got something on and wants me to put in a book or something, great. I often use the products in a giveaway for myself. And we're crossing audiences in that way. And we were doing that even prior to her joining the team. My involvement with Fearless Activewear came about because I put a few stories up of their crops I was wearing. I had no intention of getting involved and they reached out to me. Similar with my hemp now, I put a post up of a recipe I shared it, that looked awesome, someone else had made. They stalked my feed and said, would you like to be part of our family? So if you were consistent with your message, because people will go back, and I think that's really important. If I can give you a tip, people will stalk your feed. They're not just going to look at the last few posts you did. They're going to stalk and go, is this person real with what they're about? And they're going to follow you silently. They're going to look at your feed. They're going to look at your stories. And if you aren't consistent with your posting and your message, well, there you go. Like no one's necessarily going to go, oh, that person's really about, you know, what they're sharing and I'm going to want to work with them or collab with them or utilize them in some way. So that's kind of how some of those collaborations naturally came about. So I would encourage you, if there's people in the groups that you are talking to right now who you feel you could reach out and go, hey, I love what you're doing. Would you like to donate something to an incentive I'm doing next month for my business? Or, you know, I think we could do something really great that would be of value to both our audiences, online or offline. Do you want to do an event together? And let's see how we can, you know, cross promote. So if, you know, they have to tag or like your page and they have to like mine, well, we're going to get potential followers. Obviously, don't do it with something that's going to cross over into your business. Like, don't go and cross promote with a Herbalife person. That's kind of not really going to work for you. But if it's something that can add value to your current followers and customers and tribe and vice versa, then why not? You know, like I think it's such a great opportunity to just expand your network.
Definitely. I think what you've said there, Carla, is adding value. You know, people follow you on social media for a reason because they are interested in what you do. And the more value you can give them, and no, that's not just giving them free shakes and, you know, what does an orange do and giving them, you know, an ebook. It's giving them value on other things. Like, you know, I work with a lot of, you know, all the beauty people that I see, the girl that does my lashes, girl that does my nails, the girl that does my hair. Every time I see them, I give them a shout out on social media now so that they'll give me shout outs back. So that's, we're helping each other. It's, you know, collect friends on social media like that. In life, the more friends you have, the better your life, I believe. And I think go out there to collect friends. Don't go out there to sell Juice Plus and send messages and go, oh, that person's really good because they've just posted a smoothie. I'm going to send them some information on Juice Plus. Ask them what's in that smoothie. Are they interested in smoothies? Build up a relationship. Don't be scared of sliding into people's DMs and just chatting to them. And it's become so bloody easy these days to create. I know more people by their Instagram handle than their actual name. I'm meeting someone tomorrow. I've got no idea what her name is, but I know what her Instagram handle is.
Yeah, I really like that. And I mean, I think it's exactly like you said. It's just, and it's being willing to learn from other people too. If people see that you're coming from a good place, quite often I'll reach out to others and go, hey, I'd love to just organise a Zoom and see what you're doing with your business. Like, I'd love to know more about it. I'd love to know how you're working it. I might then ask some questions and get some tips and something out of it and build relationships in that way. So the more people can see, as I said, you're adding value, you're authentic, you're coming from a good place, they're going to want to share your message too, and they're going to want to reach out to you, and they're going to want to team up with you as well. And that's really what it's all about. And that's all I've done. I've created loads of relationships and loads of friends online. But I've done it without necessarily the desire to get something back in return. Yeah, do I talk to people? And sometimes I think, you know, oh God, I'd love to work with them. Or I'd love to have them on Juice Plus at some stage, I think, for them, or I'd love to team up with them. Yes, but it's not my sole purpose. So if it doesn't go there straight away, I don't go, I'm not going to work with them. And I think the same goes with some of the people that you might connect with or collaborate with. It may not be that this is ever for them, but could they be in some way helping give you a step up to your business? Absolutely, because I've had referrals from people or businesses who maybe they're not looking at it for this, but because they've established that relationship with me and they trust me and what I'm about, they'll pass someone on to me. So I think that's really important to understand. It's not necessarily who you directly know, but maybe who they know and are going to trust with you as well. I'm trying to think what else I had written down. I think that's it. I don't think he ever set out and go, I'm going to be an influencer and make an impact. Like, sure, I wanted to use social media to get my message out there, but I think I naturally, through those I wanted to follow, those I wanted to reach out to, learn from, and because I wanted to help other people and other brands and products that I believed in, it kind of naturally, I think, it pays forward and comes back to you, and people want to end up working with you. So eventually, I guess you're kind of seen as someone who's making an influence in your whatever your thing is. And as I said, it's not about being an expert. It's just being an expert at what you are passionate about and what your message is. And, you know, like I said, please go follow tons of people who have made a huge impact simply just because they're not afraid to share what they're passionate about, regardless of whether they have some sort of certificate or, you know, actual degree or something behind what they do or know. They're just good at what they do and people love what they're sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carla. I think that's, you know, I think that's been really valuable, and it's probably something that we haven't really heard before on training, which is why I thought it would be great to do a quick interview to really hear about how you're running your business, especially as this influencer thing pops up so much. And if anyone has any questions, do feel free to pop them in. I think everyone was just so they were so zoned in. But, you know, when I first started, I was really lost on my story, and I only actually realized what my story and what my expertise was on the weekend when I was sharing my story. And I didn't once mention that I was a mum, because that's not my story. My story is corporate, not living in their passion, you know, and not feeling like I had enough expertise to create my own business. Like, I'd never thought I could create a business doing events and marketing, which is what I did at uni, because I was like, no one wants an event manager these days. Every venue's got them. Juice Plus gave me a platform to help other women create an income and get out of the story that I was in. That's my expertise. That's my why, that's my story. And so now my passion is to find those women who are stuck and don't think they've ever got anywhere to go because they don't think they've got enough to give. And that's when you really get down to that, that's pretty bloody powerful. And so that's all I share. You know, I don't share health. Most of the time you'll see me eating donuts and brownies, and that's totally okay.
Yeah. And I think that's really big because most of what people I think attracted me for is for my own health journey and story, which is my passion, like helping people use, you know, healthy daily rituals and practices to be able to get past things such as anxiety and depression and things like that. That the expert part comes second, but that's really what my core message is. It's just sharing the things I do every day, and food and being outside and health events and stuff like that, which regardless if it was my business or not, I'd be doing, because it's who I love as me. So I think, just as I said, don't fear that you need to have some sort of like background in whatever it is you're about. Just get really good at sharing your message and work hard at it. Like, you've got to spend some time like understanding social media. And I'm no different. I'm not an expert. I just get on all the trainings we do and other things as well. And I've just learned and practiced and found my flow, and I'm still always learning new things as well to get good at marketing my message, because at the end of the day, the better you get at marketing your message, the more attraction marketing you get, the more people who want to work with you and share your message, the greater influence you have in Juice Plus, in your community, in your customer base, and in your business, and can bring that all back in. That's what it's all about.
That's pretty much it. Well, that is exactly it.
I hope that's helpful. I know it's really simple, but that's kind of my journey with it.
But Jo, I think it's good. I think it is simple once you really get down to your core, and you know, some people might follow, some people might have followed you, Carla, and thought, oh my God, I could so not do what you're doing. But you said all you do is share your daily rituals. So why wouldn't anyone else share their daily rituals? You know, every single person on here has got their own journey. Share your journey and become a person of influence and expertise in your own journey. No one can tell you you're wrong.
No, exactly. And as I said, it's practice, because if you go back to the very beginning of my socials, I can guarantee I'll look at it and go, oh God. But I've learned so much as I go at getting better at it. And so you just got to work at it. You're not going to have it perfect all up, but as long as your message is strong and clear, the rest will come.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carla. And thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you taking the time out to listen.